Welcome to Malcolm and We, a stream heard exclusively on malcolmpresents.com, which is a streaming platform heard round the world and beyond. I have to do and beyond in a deep
I,
voice.
I like the beyond voice. That's cool, man. That's like
Uh,
your lower register. There
right.
you go.
And I am Malcolm Berman, and my co-host on the bottom of the screen is Yana Larson, and my special guest is Maxine
Me,
Margo Rubin. And you
the
might
first.
recognize, yeah, and you might recognize Maxine. Actually, she does two other shows with me. One of them
That's
is
right.
called The Tush Twins, which is hard to explain, so you just have to listen to it. And the other
Yeah,
is,
that one's bizarre, but go ahead.
and the other one is Many Shades of Green, which basically uh, Maxine has been doing for about 20 years now.
I've been doing an iteration of it. I actually started out doing Green America on Air America, and then I wound up going to WDFH, and I did a show called Village Green. And then when I went to Bebox Radio, I had to change the name. I don't even remember why. And then it wound up the Many Shades of Green. So the
Many
Many
Shades
Shades
of
of Green from about 2011-ish, and the others since 2000, like 7 or 8. So I've been doing a form of radio or podcasting since like 2007 or
or
8. So,
whatever.
all right. Anyway, that's it.
And
I'm moving on.
and actually, I don't know if you've seen some of our past shows, Max. I call her Max. I don't know.
Max is good.
Yeah, it's easy. It's easy. As we get older, it's the shorter the names, the better it is.
Take, right. Take me to the max.
Take me to the
Take
Max.
it to the max.
But anyway, Maxine has been involved with this project in her hometown,
Hmm.
and it's called Button Hook.
Yes, it's Button Hook Forest. It's a beautiful 20.3 acre, beautiful trees. It's a magical forest. It's a wetland. It's a carbon sink. It has uh, wildlife, some of which are endangered, including the Indiana long-eared bat that we found. The bats might save us because
Bad.
because the whatever's happening now, there's a court case involving it. So
Yeah,
it's always something. And
yeah.
We the World helped us out a bit as well a little ways back when we needed some help to have like a nonprofit wing to help us, and then we became a nonprofit ourselves. But I want to thank we for that, by the
And now
way.
Malcolm Presents is a nonprofit, but it's not an intentional not nonprofit.
Right. It's as B as the Hudson River Radio says, it's a multi-$100 corporation.
Right.
So then you get an idea of whoever's, doing the hosting on that platform is we're getting paid big bucks.
Right. But what I'm
Uh
interested in talking about Button Hook is I think for 2, 3 weeks in a row, we're talking to people who are involved with indigenous folk,
mhm,
both
right,
nationally and internationally.
right.
And I know that you have the American Indians. They still call it, or they call it Native
No, Native
Americans.
American and Native American indigenous peoples.
Yeah. I don't know
That's
why they can't say Native Indians and why Indian is a bad terminology.
It's not bad. It's just that people have used it for other
Mm.
intentions other than what it, really means. I mean, they were here long before any of us were here, and it's the land is sacred to them, and
They're
they
the
were
native peoples,
right.
native people.
To the
Uh,
native peoples.
Native,
and Max, I just wanted to remind you that the way I met you and Malcolm was I was taking Angel's place from We the
Right,
World
right,
to be on your podcast, and that's how
right.
I met
Right. I'm
Malcolm.
always hooking people up. That's all I can say.
I hook people up
I'm the
too.
connector. I'm the connector. Well, you're a
Yeah.
major connector in many, many ways. But I tend to like, try to use connections in a good way to get people together. We need
That's what
that
it's
more than
about.
ever now because,
Yeah.
we're not talking about the elephant in the room right now, but there's a big one,
yeah.
Yeah.
literally.
Yes.
So, you know, just, I'm trying to wrap things around, you know, in my head, and I just can't.
Well,
It
one
just
day we'll
not.
do another show who I'm more actually afraid of than the guy on top is a guy named Elon Musk,
Yeah, Musk
because
is,
he knows what he's doing. And
not as
he's
much as you think. You know, the people who work for him are the ones who really know what they're doing. They're the scientists. They're the ones who send the rockets up.
He
He
just
just
has the
sits,
money.
you know, he
but
just
he has the money
and initially he didn't have that much. The thing almost went completely bust. It was by pure freaking luck. If you look at like a documentary with him or what or news, there was some news, you know, they did an in-depth study a while back when I thought he was a good guy, and he was heading our rock, you know, our working with NASA and our program to get, you know, with the space station and get, you know, rockets up there, and he had an amazing, you know, electric car. But yeah, he got it out. But the ones who were involved are the ones who are the engineers and the staff and everyone who developed all of this stuff. So, you know, what he knows is how to like throw it on. You know, that's what he knows. And which worked.
Yeah, well, he knows how to organize. He knows how to organize the company, but he's also now involved with a lot as our future president said, with a lot of bad people.
Really? All right,
Yeah, I
let's
know.
talk.
Isn't that hard to believe?
Yeah.
I
Gosh.
don't
But
know.
anyway, let's get
Let's get
back
off of
off
that,
of
because
this.
if we start on that road, we're in
Yeah.
big trouble.
Well,
So
we will.
anyway,
Tell us about
I'm gonna
the
read this because this is on the Button Hook
okay.
website, and it's one of the native one of the tribes we're working with, and she wrote a little bit about it. So I'm gonna just read that because that'll give you an idea of the Native American side of it. So she wrote, Button Hook Forest is a sacred site of important historical, cultural, archaeological, and environmental value for American Indians. She said American Indians. The Button Hook Forest can best be described as a ceremonial stone landscape. There are hand-laid stone monuments, serpent stone walls, ceremonial artifacts, and stone markers identifying water. This site is also home to many different species of wildlife and is populated by box turtles. Now, the eastern box turtle is endangered, and they're on the property. Bobcats, there are not that many in this county, Westchester, so they're kind of on the, you know, maybe they are endangered, maybe they're going to come back. We call it Bobby the Bobcat. We've seen Bobcat. There's foxes and owls. Environmental preservation, protecting the plants, animals, and waterways beneath the forest is an important reason by itself for trying to save the site from destruction, because the property, which is owned by the school board, they wanted to sell it to a developer to make 6 McMansions, which would have desecrated stones. It would have leaked into the waterways, which eventually also go into the Bronx. You know, it's the Croton Reservoir. And so far, because it's the New York City DEP, they're not giving them permits to do that. So that's one of the things that's.
Wait, before we go, exactly where is Button Hook? Where is the forest?
Button Hook Forest is located in the town of Newcastle, New York, also known as Chappaqua. A lot of names of the towns around here are of Native American origin. Chappaqua is one of them. It means like rustling leaves and water. And it actually, the initial spelling was a SHAPEQ or WA, and now it's CHAPPA. It was changed. Uh, we also have a lot of Quaker things here. The Quakers came here, and they, you know, and then land was literally stolen by colonists, not necessarily the Quakers, and they took over the land in this area. And the Native Americans now, uh, you know, they see that this is something that they went through this area for many, many, many years, probably decades. So anyway, so what we're down to is the site is of particular importance because the ancestors traveled extensively through this area and no doubt attended ceremonies in this sacred place. It is possible the site may contain the remains of ancestors and those of other tribes in the area. So the Native American, Indians are saying this should be preserved on behalf of all tribes in the Northeast who once traversed this land. This site is an important part of U.S. history and part of the history of the American Indian and Indians in New England and the state of New York. It holds many stories of tribal ancestors and relatives who lived and died centuries ago. The stories of the ancestor with this particular tribe was a trek from New York to Wisconsin. And so there's a definite connection from here to Wisconsin. What happened to Wisconsin? But the property has been identified as a culturally significant site by representatives, indigenous representatives, including members of the Narragansett tribe, the Stockbridge Munsee, and the Ramapo Lenape tribes. The native people who are involved in efforts to preserve the forest, they're welcoming support by not just the Friends of Button Hook, but everyone. So it's kind of a really amazing place. It's when you go take a tour and you look what's there, you see these these turtle effigies and these snake effigies. You don't see that, you this is something that must be preserved. There's sacred spots where because of the way the sun goes into the stones and the areas that they had ceremonies there, like you would have in a church or a synagogue or a mosque. It's the same thing. So these people are trying to develop it and destroy, the ledge and some of the stones. They want to wipe out 1,000 trees. And so we felt that we needed to do whatever we could to save the property. And we were working with the school district. They put out a bid and we had a bid. But the problem came up that the developer said, even though you couldn't get the permits and you said that the deal was off, the deal is really on and we're going to sue you. So they're in a lawsuit now, this developer against the school board, and we're kind of just like looking at, giving them our information so they know. We filed kind of a amicus kind of brief so that the judge would know what is really there, because neither the school nor the developer said what's there. Initially the school said, oh, when they had to do their environmental impact statement, oh, there's songbirds and small animals and insects. They didn't say anything about bobcats, turtles,
Turtle.
no wolves, but these animals, some of them are on the endangered species list here.
Can you take a judge there for a tour or?
Nah, the judge was supposed to get a decision. This has been almost 2 years of litigation, because that's just the way it is. So we're hoping that also our little, thing that might help, as I said, is the bats. There's, one of the members of the Button Hook crew here, he put the camera, he had an infrared camera, and he recorded sounds of the bats. And then we had the Bat Conservancy come, two different ones, I believe, and they camped out. And then they found that it was one of them was the Indiana long-eared bat, which is on the endangered list.
Who
So
lost
I'm
his
putting
life
up
in
a
Indiana?
bat signal.
Did they lose away from Indiana?
The what?
Did the bat
I don't
lose
know. It's
away from
called
Indiana?
the Indiana long-eared bats. I probably can get a picture of it.
It probably saw a Batman signal and was misdirected.
Well, and one thing also, the gentleman who was in charge, he's like the head guy of the Bat Conservancy. He said that I think he said 7 or 9. I don't know which number, but there's only X amount of bat species in a forest, and Button Hook has the highest amount of those species in a forest. It's like he said, this is incredible. This is like insane. And we just, we've been taking people on tours so they can know what they're doing. We try to fundraise. We try to, we have to pay legal fees for things. We're trying to get the Pace University environmental I think the seniors in law school, they work and they've been helping doing research for us. And a lot of, Native Americans and have been, really fantastic. And, those that have like archaeology degrees have come.
Yeah,
And we're relying on, as much like high expert information that we can get. So that's very, very important. And
yeah. By the way, why don't you give your email address and or your website so people who might be interested could hook into you?
It's well, there's preservebuttonhook.org. Buttonhook is BUTTONHOOK, preservebuttonhook.org. And I think if you put savebuttonhook.org, it might pop up and send it to the other one. And they can get information on the webpage and all about the history of it and what we're trying to do. And it is,
I hear a dog.
that's not my dog. She
That's
came
my
up,
dog, and
I
I
know,
was hoping that with my using this, it would help, but
doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
So
Oh.
and officially you're a button hooker, right?
I
button
am a
hooker.
button hooker. There have been 4 button hooker t-shirts made. Me and Stacy, we're on the button hook committee. And then my son and his now fiance, hello, lovely people. They wanted a button hooker t-shirt. I wore my button hooker t-shirt when I was in Dublin and we were on tour and people were looking like, because the t-shirt says I'm a button hooker.
Oh my gosh. I gotta take care of this.
Take care of it.
Go take care of the doggies.
All right, I
there's a
gotta turn
fight.
off. I gotta mute myself here.
Okay.
Okay.
I-
It's always the dog. I'm glad my dog doesn't bark like that.
Yeah. Actually, my new dog, who's about 6 months old now, maybe 5 months old, he doesn't bark. She doesn't bark at all. I mean, she's sort of like, sort of like gives weird sounds.
Right.
And now
Well,
she might have a urinary tract infection or something.
really? Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Because she's at a vet, but the vet said she's a very healthy dog. Otherwise, he didn't see.
Yeah.
He gave her some
Okay.
antibiotics.
Yeah, she'll be okay.
But
But
do you have we should do a copyright on I'm a button hooker.
I
and
can't
stuff.
do that. It would have to be the button hook people who
Well,
did that.
why
I
don't
would
they
never-
do that? Suggest it.
This has been an inside joke for years.
Yeah.
I mean, we did a major fundraiser last year
Yeah.
or the year before. I don't know, I'm losing track. And no one was really wearing button hook stuff. So I had a really nice blazer and really nice slacks, and I wore I am a button hooker t-shirt underneath. And when I got on stage, because I had to bring someone in, give him an intro. I walked on stage, I opened my thing. So the kids of the parents were there and some of the kids knew, and they were like screaming. They were like, Max was the best. She opened the thing and it says, I'm a button hooker.
You open your thing.
She had, a pair of cojones. So yeah. So I would love to get those out for sale. I mean, but it's not up to me. Some people want to be a little more straightforward. I'm one of the goofballs. So
Actually, if we have anybody in the audience that is into something like that, you can contact me at malcolmpresents@gmail.com.
well,
let's talk
we
about it.
can't. I would not put that out. Anyone do that and put that out without permission at this point. So
No, well, we would give partial back to your.
no. I can't do that. I would really get myself in a lot of trouble, people. Don't
You're
do
in
it.
a lot of you're in a lot of trouble anyway.
I know, but the last thing I need is for that to happen. And then I'm the one who started. Malcolm, behave yourself, man. You're causing trouble.
The person is in charge knows your name.
Yeah, but we don't. We have to take care of this in house. No one in the outhouse. Nope.
No one in the
Or
outhouse.
I'll be sent to the outhouse. That's what's going to happen.
But the thing that I object, with what's happening is, I'm into this whole thing of Native Americans and the species, but it's taking a beautiful, number one, is destroying the trees, which basically gives absorbs our carbon dioxide,
Right.
which gives us oxygen. And it seems, and it's not really what they're doing with the project is not to the advantage of the poor people or affordable housing. It's McMansions
Yeah, it's
that the rich
McMansions.
people take it, and they could move any place.
Would be 6 McMansions, 6 swimming pools, 6 jacuzzis.
And it probably would be like $1 million homes.
Yeah, absolutely. $2-3 million probably each.
Because
So
Chappaqua happens to be a wealthy area, which I know
it
Bill and Hillary
is.
live there, right?
Bill and Hill, yep. Billary.
Bill and Hill.
Yeah,
Billary live here. I've met them.
Just to name
They
one
are
couple.
they are active in the community, actually. They do support a lot of, things that go on, and they show up to events.
Yeah.
And so it's not like they just live in the house there. They do come out.
If you get Hillary to wear the T-shirt,
Yeah, I could just
I'll give her a call. I have
yeah,
someplace
I'm sure that'll go over well, with the Clintons, with her saying I'm a button hooker, because
with
of the
Bill,
past history,
with Bill it'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. Again, I'm getting in more trouble than I can imagine at this point. You're not supposed to get me into trouble, man. This is
You're in
supposed to
trouble.
be.
You're in trouble when you wake up.
It's true. I was in trouble the minute I got up this morning. Sparkles was looking at me like, take me out, take me out, take me out. I'm like,
Sparkles is your standard poodle, right?
my baby.
Well, my little Poochie is a poodle and Shih Tzu. Yeah.
Oh, it's a
We can't use
combo.
that. We can't use that language. It's on
Well,
Shih Tzu.
YouTube.
Shih
Doesn't
Tzu.
like
It's a
language
Poochie.
like that.
Poochie. There
It's a
you go.
Poochie. That's the name of it?
It's a
Poo-
designer
It's
dog.
a designer dog. Yeah. There's a lot of
Or
designers on
you could say Shipu, but I like Poochie.
Poochie's cool.
But
Poochie's
my
cool.
son has a slightly different pronunciation of Shipu.
Oh,
Shipu.
Now, my son's new dog is a Doberman.
Dole Dobie.
Doberman.
It's all Doberman, and it's sort of the dark brown or rust.
Mm-hmm. It's cute.
And
Show me
I see
pictures.
now he got it about a month and a half ago, and it was sort of like awkward. Now she gained I think 7 or 8 pounds in about a month, and you
Yep.
could see her walking, and you could see the gait and the strength that she's going to have,
Yeah,
and the fluidity of the body.
Yeah, they're like all muscle, those dogs.
Yeah, there.
And they're slim, and they're good dogs. I mean, my brother-in-law and sister-in-law up in Saratoga, they just got a new golden lab, and he's adorable, and they just picked him up. I think it was yesterday. Of course, they announced it all over social media. We got the dog, we got the dog, we got the dog.
Well, the good thing about
Congratulations.
the Dobie is they don't shed.
Right, and poodles don't shed either.
Yeah.
Does yours shed, Gianna? No,
I do. My hair is everywhere, all over the place.
You shed,
not
but
my
the
dog.
the dogs don't shed.
But
Well,
it's okay. I like them. Her ears aren't clipped. They're floppy. Her tail is clipped, but they don't look so. When its ears are pointed, they look fierce.
but
she
wait a
looks
minute, wait a
adorable.
minute. So they're going to keep the ears down?
I think so.
That's very unusual, actually,
Because I think you have to clip them before a certain age because the cartilage grows in.
I don't know what.
I've seen
Well, I don't know what they would look
Dobies
like
with floppy
with
ears.
Floppy ear Dobies. That's very interesting. But anyhow.
But they look like they're pets, not guard dogs. I was always leery about Dobies because I watch a lot of World War II movies.
Well, they have the German Shepherds also.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
pretty
yeah.
much the doggies.
But
of choice
anyway,
for that.
going back to Buttonhook, yeah, as I say, what I see is it's a beautiful forest that they're
Mhm.
turning into McMansions for the rich people, which is not doing any good for the community. It's not doing any good for the environment because what you have is as you were telling me, the history of you're having all the wastewaters and all the pollution, isn't it going to the Hudson River?
Yep. Well, it's going to go into the Croton
Mc-
Aquifer Dam, which is even worse, actually, because that's the drinking water.
The dr-
Right now, they're doing a project. They're fixing one of the upstate reservoirs, and now they're feeding it from the Croton Reservoir. But the problem is the Croton Reservoir went down about, I don't know, 7 inches. We're having a drought here in New York area. We're literally on drought alert now. I finally got something, notice that it's the first stage of a drought warning, and it hasn't rained here in 2 months, and now we're on like fire notice. There's been fires, a lot of fires in Connecticut. It's so dry.
And New
It's
Jersey, I was reading, there's a big
Jersey,
fire.
Yeah.
yeah, and so in New York, I get fire warnings on my weather thing every day.
Yeah.
That
Wow.
there's alerts for fires, and so right now I think it's supposed to rain a little bit, maybe on Sunday, but now they're sending out the frost warnings. It's
Yeah, that's gets me into my next topic,
yeah,
climate change.
that's a topic.
Because that's what we've been involved. I'm the co-host of
Right,
Many Shades of
right.
Green right
Climate
now,
change.
and that's what we've been
Uh,
talking about for the last 2-3 years.
Well,
And
we're hitting the point of no return, so it's getting very close.
yeah,
Oh
because
no,
I
it's
know,
it's a climate change is a hoax. Don't you guys know
right, no,
that?
I know it's crazy that I speak to you and almost every day in New York, and you say, yeah, it's 80 degrees the other day. It
Yeah,
was
it was
60 degrees
80s
in
in the
Los
70s.
Angeles.
Who walks around in November in New York with a t-shirt on?
Yeah.
Like,
And who
it
walks
was
around in Los
warm.
Angeles with a jacket?
Well, that happens sometimes, but it's very unusual for it to be this warm.
Yeah.
I mean, like you get weather and there's been anomalies, but this is the extremeness of it is what the problem is.
Oh, you're
When you
just listening to those crazy progressive liberals. This is
just
just cyclical
just
and
damn the scientists, they know
yeah, I
nothing.
mean, what are they talking? It's just to make us all be
Drill,
afraid.
baby, drill.
Well, I mean, I call it now that he will be satisfying the wet oil dreams
Mm.
of the fossil fuel industry. That's my quote.
But,
I
but,
call
but,
it wet oil dreams. That's what
but
they
That's
I
a
want.
can't
little
understand that
out there, Max.
more than 50% of the population believes him.
Well, wet oil dreams is a good phrase because actually they're effing everybody. Don't you
Yeah,
think?
yeah.
I mean, wet oil dreams is it's a good phrase. I'm gonna copyright that one.
And when are they going to bring out the Kool-Aid? I keep
You know,
wondering about that.
well, they're gonna have to go to Jimmy Jones's gravesite. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, it just seems like it's just all, oh, it's a cult,
But well, there
It,
was,
like,
well, Musk is,
73 million people voted for him.
yeah.
68 million. I don't know what the
Yeah,
totals are
Musk
now.
just bought the name Kool-Aid and then bought the rights to it.
Yeah, sounds right to
Because
me.
what's frightening is he has through X and his contracts, he's connected around the world and
Yeah.
could give that misinformation any place. He could be
Well,
in charge of
it's going all over the world.
international
People, it's
communications.
already there. This is not something new to us in terms of what, my question is, how did, Bezos wouldn't let the Washington Post put out the endorsement of Kamala. How do these tech giants, how did they know what was going to happen? My question is, how did they know? What did they know that we didn't know, or the pundits didn't know, or the pollsters didn't know? How did they know? Because you don't pull something like that when it's already done and ready to just go out and you say, no, we're not endorsing anybody.
and yeah, and how it got so out of like before you could even blink, it's like, what?
Yeah, it was fat. We thought it was going to be, challenges and this and that.
Yeah,
Notice that there's no
razor thin, like
Yeah,
right.
one head and then the other,
That doesn't
and it's
make any
like,
sense
no.
because what this was really a landslide if you look at it now.
it was.
Like, and no one predicted that. And the polls coming out where it was like it's tight. It could be a toss up. This was not a toss up.
Another toss-up.
Not even
Nowhere was it
close.
a toss-up.
I think
No.
this was the first time in the last 30, 40 years they remember that a presidential election was called. They knew it before midnight of the
Yeah.
election day.
They were warning us, we probably won't know till tomorrow or even later.
Even the
and it-
weekend they were saying. you know.
Yeah, and instead it was like that night. It's like, okay, well,
I don't know. I get a feeling something's way
But
off.
there's
So-
I just read an article. I just read an article in the LA Times that it wouldn't it be marvelous if uh, Biden would resign before this time is up and make Harris the president?
Yeah. And let her do like all the stuff that she can possibly do in 2 months.
In 2 months.
So
and why
that,
couldn't she do it?
why couldn't she do it?
She's not the
What do you mean?
president. Oh, you mean in 2 months or as vice president?
Why couldn't Biden resign now? And
Oh, he could.
Oh, he could. He
but why
probably
wouldn't
will.
he? Why wouldn't
I-
they
I don't
say?
know.
Why wouldn't they say, you know what, this is, well, let's do this.
Well, they need a reason for him to resign. I mean, I don't know.
Well, yeah, he could say
dementia. I mean, he
he's
has
ill.
dementia, right?
No, he wouldn't say that. He could say physically ill. He wouldn't say mentally ill.
I think he
yeah.
would say physically he would have to have
Yeah,
something.
he could say I don't
could
have
have
I
could
don't have
have a
the energy
stroke.
anymore.
He could have
know.
a stroke and act like he's having a stroke, but not really have a
No,
stroke.
Well, we don't
yeah,
wanna-
I've seen the movie.
No, I'm not saying he would have it in.
I
for
know
real.
what you're saying. Yeah, I just
And they have
don't
a
know how that would
look-alike.
play
Well, that
out.
was a movie where the president had a stroke and they had a look-alike that
Oh,
came
wag the dog.
that's where they made up a
Did they have
war.
Sigourney
there's-
Weaver was in that
I
one?
know which one you mean. I just don't remember the title.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he came
I
in
know.
and I think Sigourney Weaver was the
Right. Yeah, I know.
was the president's
Kevin
wife.
Kline.
I mean-
Kevin Kline.
Kevin Kline. Was that with him?
Yeah, I think
And
so.
Kevin Costner, no, it was with
Kevin Kline?
Kevin
Kevin Kline.
Kline.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Sigourney Weaver. Yeah.
I don't remember the name of it.
Oh, maybe it was just called Dave,
I think
you
you're
could-
right.
well, his name was Dave, yeah, I think.
but the
Yeah.
movie was just called Dave.
Dave the movie.
Malcolm, are you okay? You sound
No.
like you're.
I haven't been okay since 1965.
1965 was the last time, huh?
Right.
Dave.
Actually, 1961.
Yep, Kevin
what was
Kline.
63, the assassination of JFK.
Oh,
And
then
my
there's
life was
68
brought into
with
reality.
Bobby. Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
both, but
Dave
I
was-
was in-
Dave,
Yeah,
Dave?
it says, I'll just say what it says. It says shifty White House Chief of Staff, Bob Alexander, which was Frank Langella, played
Oh
the role,
yeah.
hatches a scheme to use a double for the president, Kevin Kline. At a public photo op, small business owner fits the bill, but after the president suffers a debilitating stroke,
yeah.
Alexander arranges for Dave to step in full time without informing the first lady.
Mm.
It doesn't take long before the press and then see now it would take very long for the press because my name for them is depress because they're depressing me and how they've covered this and how they've just missed the mark on everything. And they should
Anyway,
be
guys,
ashamed.
but believe it or not, our show's over.
Oh no.
And we didn't have enough to talk about. We'll have to have you on again this show.
I could talk whatever you need. It's inherited. Brother Phil had that.
Right.
Mitch didn't, not as much. He brought everything out through his music.
No, Mitch was I had a show
He's more
with Mitch
reserved.
and Phil, and Mitch would be quiet most of the show, but then at the end of the show he'd say two sentences that tied up the whole idea of what we were talking
Right.
about.
Because he, as my mom called him, he was a genius. He wrote a song, Liberty and Justice for Some, that I played on Many Shades, and he also wrote a song called Hitler's Still Alive. I saw him yesterday. I saw him again today. How can we survive? He wrote a song, Hitler's Still Alive. He wrote it like 30 years ago, and every word of that song matches exactly
Sure.
what is going on now. Every word.
That
Anyway,
is
guys,
so amazing when songwriters can do that, how prophetic they can be like
Well,
decades ago.
Mitch was, and I'll leave you with this line because this is my favorite line. You know it, Malcolm. Mitch's line was, "Nothing makes sense and plenty of it."
Yeah.
And that's what's happening now.
And
That's
now-
a t-shirt. I'd work with someone
There
on
you
that.
go.
Okay,
Not
let's
a
do it.
button hook. So go
Okay.
save button hook.
We don't want to stop talking, Malcolm. We want to keep going.
I know you do. We'll have you on next week.
Sure. Anytime you need me to
We'll
fill
do
in.
another show. It's going to come out. It's going to become Malcolm Presents Maxine Margo Rubin.
Malcolm presents Motor Mouth Max. There you go.
Bye, guys. Have a good.
All
Try
right,
to have
have
a
a
good
good
week.
weekend, and let's shout out to the veterans. Thank
Okay.
them
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
for all their service.
Bye,
Okay.
guys. Thanks again.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.
You were listening to Malcolm and We, heard exclusively on malcolmpresents.com, in case they don't know where the hell they're listening to. Bye.
Okay.